Okay, and I have started recording.
Okay, and like we said earlier, if you've got questions, feel free to ask those during or after, and I'm happy to take those. You guys see on my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so what we've got in front of us here is a customer dashboard of a TryMyUI account. This is my account, and it's on the highest level, so we're going to have all the features available for our tests here. The dashboard is just a place where all of your tests live. So every single test that's been set up and run in my account is listed here. You'll see that some of them are just my own tests, and others of them I've shared with other members of my team. So I think I have about 10 colleagues who all have logins to our TryMyUI account, and we all share the features and we all share the test credits. And everyone on the team can create their own tests and launch those. They can share them with the relevant people working on that project. So, this test here was created by a colleague of mine, Max, and he shared it with just myself. And if we wanted to, we could add Eileen or Luke in there, and all of us could work together to either set up the test, edit the tasks, edit the questions and surveys, or now that this one we've already got the results in, we can all go in there and watch the videos, see the survey responses and the graphs and the data and all of that. So we've designed this intentionally to be collaborative, whether you're working with people remotely on the other side of the world, whether you're working with clients. It's very easy to get everyone on board with the research and keyed into what the latest findings are. So we'll go ahead and jump right into a sample test and walk through what the setup comprises and then the kind of data that you get back when you run a test like this. So what we're looking at here is just the test page for a sample e-commerce test. This is a live website, and we've just started at the URL, the home page. Now, our platform allows you to start at, it could be a home page, it can be a landing page, it could be google.com, it could be a competitor's website. We can test any kind of URL. We can test prototypes, so we're compatible with all of the major prototyping platforms, whether you use InVision or Adobe XD or Figma. You just get your prototype set up on that third-party platform and plug in the share URL for your starting point of the test. We can also test mobile apps for Android and iOS, and that's whether they're live in the App Store or Play Store, or if you've got an unreleased file, you can upload your APK or IPA. So the bottom line is we can test any type of interface at any stage of development on any device. So you're just going to put in that property that you want to test here. You choose whether your interface is a website, a mobile app, or a prototype. Then you're going to choose whether the testers should take this test on their computer, their Android, their iPhone, or just any mobile device. Next, you're going to choose the demographics of who should be taking this test. So we have our own panel that we recruit from, and we allow researchers to identify exactly who their target audience is, who they want feedback from for this design, and we'll find people who match that. So we'll take a look at the demographics for this test. We've got a variety of basic filters as well as the ability to add custom screeners. So for this particular test, we did a gender filter, we did age, country, income, a lot of different ones. Some of these you'll see we left set to any. We didn't care for this particular test about family status or community type or some of these. So we didn't put a filter for those, but we did for others. And besides that, we've added a custom screener question. We wanted to target people who play golf. So we asked that and then only accepted those who responded yes. So you set up whatever combination of basic filters and custom screeners you need to identify exactly who's the right target market or target user for your designs. Then the last piece of the setup we're going to see here is the tasks that are actually going to structure those video sessions the users are going to complete. You start off with a scenario. This is just kind of a storyline that the users read right at the beginning, and it sets the scene. It allows them to imagine the real life situation where they will be engaging with this website or this app, right? So our scenario here is just a very basic one. We said you're looking for a couple of new casual shirts and you came across the Travis Matthew website. So they read that, they adopt that as their frame of mind, and then they're going to move one at a time through the tasks that you've set up. So here I've included 6 tasks for our test setup here. We don't have any limit on how many tasks you can include in a test. We just have a limit on the time users will have to complete them. So when you set up your test, you would choose whether to have 20 minutes or 30 minutes or 45 or 60. So I think I chose 30 minutes for this test. And then I've just taken the user journey that I want to see, that I want feedback on, and broken it down one step at a time. So what's the very first thing someone would do on this site? And then what comes next right after that? So just breaking it all down into bite-sized pieces, leading the users through but without spoon feeding them answers or things like that. So if we take a look at the task script here, task number 1, since we're starting on the home page, we just said, does anything attract your interest on the home page, and where would you want to go first, right? So it's kind of a more open-ended one, just to gauge their impressions off the bat and see what's drawing their eye. Then in task 2, we're giving them a more direct instruction to go find the shirts and pick out 3 or 4 that they like. Now in task 3, the next step after that, we're going to ask them to narrow it down to just their top 2 that they're most likely to buy, and give us some details about why they chose those ones, what were the important aspects in making the decision. So here we're kind of combining an instruction of what to do with the questions that we want them to talk about as they go, to kind of draw the feedback out of them, right? Task 4, we ask them about their impressions of the product pages. Task 5, customize your size and color and things like that. And then task 6, go through the checkout process. So you can see this is a natural user flow, all proceeding the way that someone might if they weren't doing a test at all, if they were just on the site trying to buy some shirts. I'm seeing some, yeah, go ahead.
Tim, I just wanted to add that usually when we're doing usability tests, we ask the person to talk through the process and share their thought process out loud, and keep reminding them to talk, because like if you're on a website, you're just automatically just going and doing and you forget to talk. So that's something that's real important, so that we can track the not only what they're doing in the screenshot being captured, but what they're thinking. So their thought process is really, really important.
Yeah, exactly. And so as our users are going through performing these tasks, we're going to be capturing their microphone and they'll be speaking out loud. But it is a good idea when you're writing your tasks to slip in there things that encourage them to speak out loud, kind of hint at the kind of topics you would like to hear them expound on further. And so that's kind of what we've done here. And you could even go harder than that. So we've written our tasks here. And now what I'll do is just, I'll show you an example video how these actually play out. So on our test page, if we scroll down, we've got our diagnostics up here. I usually check these right away. We'll take a look at them in a second. Down below, we've got, let me switch over to the videos view, our test videos. Since this was a sample test, we just did 3. Usually you want to do a minimum of 5 users, up to maybe 20 if you want solid quantitative data. That's the usual range for one test. We've got 3 users here. I can click on their names and see the profile information, how they met the criteria that I was looking for. And I've already opened up Logan's video, from this play link. I've got that open in a new tab here. So we'll just jump right over to there. And here we see the video that you get back. We're recording the user's entire screen. And we've just got the test website open in the main tab of their browser. We're seeing him interact with that, where he's clicking, what he's doing, just everything that happens during this session. And up in the top right corner is our software. And this is displaying that current task instruction that he's on. These tasks, by the way, are only shown sequentially, one at a time. They're not seeing them all in one go. So right now he's just working on task 2. He's got that timer running and the software is shrunken down so it's not blocking the site. And we're going to be able to watch him, how he tries to accomplish this task. And we're going to be able to hear him speaking aloud about what he likes, what he doesn't like, what's frustrating or confusing. I'll let this play for just a few seconds and we'll see how this goes.
And if we can't hear him, you have to reshare.
What's that?
If you can't hear him, you'll have to reshare with share. There's another button that you do the sound.
Okay. Well,
okay.
Yeah, let's see if we can hear it. I think you should be able to.
Okay.
So let's look at this one. See? So it doesn't look like it has the pocket. It's got one pocket on the front, but you can't really see it. So maybe that's not as bad. It definitely doesn't have both pockets. So overall, this one.
So we're just seeing what he's looking for in these images, trying to see if there's a pocket or not, where he scrolls on the page, and just everything that is going through his head. We get a window into that through his narration. Now, when he has finished up with the current task, let's just jump ahead and see where, there we go. So here he's just finished up with task 2. He comes up to the TryMyUI instruction panel and expands that to the full view. Now, before moving on, we've included some post-task metrics. So we've included a usability rating as well as a completion question. And before moving on, he'll have to rate how easy or difficult that was. And then he'll mark yes or no, whether he was able to successfully complete what's being asked in this task. And for each of your tasks, you can choose whether to include one or both of these or neither of them. So our task 1, that was a more open-ended question. So we probably wouldn't include these for task 1, right? But here we're asking something that's more definable so we can have him mark yes or no, were you able to actually do that and how easy was it or how hard was it? So now he would just move on to the next task, read the instruction for task number 3, shrink this right back down, and continue on the website following the new instruction that's been asked of him. So that's the way that these are facilitated and the way that it looks when these come back. If we have time later, we can potentially open up a mobile video as well, see how those look. Essentially, conceptually, it's all exactly the same. It's just, because of the different screen size that you have and the different screen shape, it's a different UI. But all the things that you can do in a desktop test, you can also do in a mobile test.
And I just wanted to add a little bit of color to this screen that you're showing right now. The how difficult was it? Question is really, really important to ask a user, because you may have seen them taking a long time, but they said it was easy. You may have seen them do it really quickly, but they said it was hard. So you're comparing what they say with what they do. And then you're also, did you feel like you completed the task? Sometimes they say, yes, they completed the task, and they actually did not. So just to let you know, these are really important perception questions that are taken into account when we're doing usability testing. Just wanted to throw that in there.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And yeah, when we look at all the data that's aggregated together back on the main results page, we'll see how you can kind of compare task duration versus task usability and task completion, and look for red flags or look for differences there. But while we're still looking at the video here, I'll just quickly show you that every video gives you an automatically generated index, so you can quickly jump to any of those tasks. If I just want to see that checkout step, right, I can use this play link and go right to task 6, and it tells me where that's going to be in the video. I can also see this user's responses to the post-test survey. So all of our tests include not just the video portion, but also a follow-up survey that you can customize. You can ask different types of questions. And we see here Logan's responses to some slider rating questions, free response questions, multi-choice questions, all of those here alongside his video. Going back to our main results page, I'll be able to see the aggregated results, and we've just got a data set of 3, so it's not super interesting to look at, but we see for a slider rating question, for all your quantitative type questions like this one, you're going to have the raw data and then a visualization. So in the case of a slider rating, a distribution graph here, right? Free responses are going to show what they've typed in here. We've got a checkbox style question here with a bar graph, and again, your raw data. Single select multiple choice. You've got a pie chart here, and all these graphs you can hover over and see a little more about the data. All this, by the way, is exportable. I can take all this, my survey responses, my videos, my diagnostics, and get them in an Excel sheet, which is nicely organized. Each data set is in its own tab, so you can continue to do whatever statistical analysis you want to do there. So we've looked at the videos now, we've looked at the surveys. One of the last big pieces is the diagnostics. And let me jump over to a different test and show you all 4 of the diagnostic features. So here's just another sample e-commerce test we ran. And the 4 diagnostic tabs we've got are an overall score, which we've used the SUS model for here. Then the task usability and task completion, those are those ones we saw during the video at the end of each task. And lastly, task duration, which we're collecting automatically. So our first tab here, an overall score, we're using a standardized model. Some of you may have heard of it, the system usability scale. This has been around for decades. It's not a TryMyUI invention. We've just added it to our tool set. And all you have to do if you want to include this is check a box, and we'll include this standardized questionnaire at the end of the test. We have different models. So our other tests have the PSSUQ. We've got the SuperQ, the ALPQ, a bunch of different acronyms that all do a similar thing, which is to quantify users' experiences or attitudes. So going back to our example here, the SUS is kind of the most common and most basic. And the questions will be things like, I thought this system was unnecessarily complex. They rate that from strongly agree to strongly disagree. And we're able to score each user's experience interacting with this site or app, right? So then you get an overall average of how people did. And then you can also look and see which users had a better time and a worse time, which people struggled, which people breezed through. And that's going to help you, before you dive into your videos, you got maybe a couple hours worth to go through. I can look at my SUS data first and see right away that Clayton and Armina had a really positive experience. If I watch their videos, I'm probably going to learn what I'm doing well, what not to change, what to lean into or embrace in my designs. On the other hand, Rachel had the lowest score out of everybody. So if I watch hers, I'm probably going to get to the negative stuff, the critical stuff about what I can change or fix or improve. So
poor Rachel.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, Michael's the other one who had a score below the average.
Yeah.
So, and you can sort by these columns if you got a bigger data set and see who falls where. But all these diagnostic data sets are going to help you paint a picture and build a mental map of what's in those videos before you dive in and start spending hours watching them. So let's jump over to our task usability. Now, again, this was the one during the video that they answer at the end of each task. And here we see our average line. Now, without watching any video, we can already say that task 2 and task 4 were the problem spots of this user flow, right? That's where people struggle. That's where we see a measurable dip in the user experience. And hovering here, task 2 was the product listings, and task 4 was customizing the color, size and color of the product they picked. So I know that those are the hard parts. I can graph my individual users too and see into greater depth. So here we go. Rachel, she had the worst sus score, right? And now we see why. Task 2 and task 4, she had the worst experience possible. And I can hover over these points, any of these points actually. And with this play link, it'll take me right to task 2 in Rachel's video, or right to task 4. And I can hone in right on that part where I know there's something that went wrong. I know there's something that I can learn from and start to fix right away, right? Now here's another dip here. Clayton on task 4. Now, if you remember on the sus tab, he supposedly had a perfect score, a 100, right? But now we see, actually, even though he reported the 100, he did struggle on this task. So this is what Sherry was talking about, where there can be mismatches in what they report, and you've got to keep your eyes peeled for that. So I'll probably want to use this link and go right to task 4 in Clayton's video and see what happened there. Then your task completion, this is the other one that they're answering at the end of the tasks. Of course, what you would like to see is just solid blue lines like this the whole way through. Here we do see some incompletes though, and it makes sense that task 2 and task 4 where those occurred. We knew that those were harder. Now we know not only that they were harder, but we did have people who couldn't complete them. And if you hover over these, we'll be able to see who that makes sense, right? It was Rachel who reported that she had a hard time using those. So again, you can hover over any of these portions and jump to that part of their video. Lastly, the task duration. This we're just collecting in the background, the timestamp when they began versus the timestamp when they ended the task. And you get this average line. You can see which tasks took longer and shorter and how long they took. And I can, again, graph my individuals and see if there's patterns or outliers or things that jump out. So on this graph, one thing that jumped out to me is our green line here, Adam, took about twice as long as everyone else on task 3. So maybe that's something to look at. Maybe there was something that I could optimize there that slowed him down, and for some reason everyone else didn't run into that problem. But my point here is, with all these diagnostics, they're going to give you a window into what is contained in these videos, so that when it does come time to watch these, I'm not going in blind. I'm not just clicking on the first one from 0 minutes and 0 seconds and watching through. I know exactly where I want to look. I know which areas were easier and harder and who had a good time and who had a bad time. And that's going to help me more strategically and more efficiently analyze these videos and turn it into a real impact on my product decisions. Now, of course, that's in addition to the benchmarking benefits of diagnostic stuff like this. So, you can run the same test last month and this month and next month and see whether that sus score is increasing and by how much. And, or maybe you made a wrong design choice and it decreased. You can see if you got rid of those incompletes, or you can see if task 4 went from a 3.5 up to a 4 or a 5, or however high you can push that. All these are great for checking your progress and measuring that objectively. You can also, if you run a test on your own site versus your competitor's site, see who's doing better and who has the easier checkout step, right? And it's great to put in presentations and show your stakeholders or your clients, here's why I'm proposing a change for this flow, because right now our incompletion rate is 25%, or users are rating it a 3 out of 7 of easiness. So there's a lot of different uses for diagnostic data like this. It's going to help you at every stage, from the analysis to the presentation to the decision making. The last bit of data that I'll show you is our UX crowd feature, and it wasn't included on this test. So let me jump over here. And generally, this is designed for tests with large sample sizes. So ideally 20 or more, which is kind of the minimum you need for statistically reliable quantitative data. But the idea behind the UX crowd is that for these large scale tests, there's so much video to watch. And so what we do is we have the users generate a list of the top things that they liked and disliked about the experience, and then they vote on each other's responses. So before diving into your videos, you can get a vote ranked list of the top things, both positive and negative, about the experience that you're going to find when you do dive in deeper. So looking at our data here, and we can go over to the list view. So this is not a huge data set, and for a real test study, I would do more. But we see that the highest voted thing that was positive was they liked that there was a layout with steps. The biggest negative was they felt there was too many ads. highest rated idea for improvements. They want more photos in the how-tos. People thought that, the advertisements could be put in a different place that's less intrusive. So you get all this, insight into what the big findings, the big takeaways are from the users themselves, already, ranked for you. So you know what's important and what's not so important, and you can get a head start on the analysis. So at this point, we've kind of looked at all the different pieces of data that you get. I could show you some other stuff about analyzing the videos, making notes on them, and turning them into highlight reels. But I am aware that we're at 6 o'clock now. When do we want to wrap this up? Should we move on to questions, Sherry? Or?
Well, you've got a few more minutes. If you have something else you want to show, and
Sure,
then
okay.
we can. I do have questions that are in there, but not very many. So,
Okay. Well, then I'll just take a couple more minutes and show you the annotation feature, which is kind of the last really important piece of the puzzle here. So I'll go back to a video that we have open here. And as you're watching the videos, you can leave notes. So, we're at 8:15 here. If I click this, I'll be able to add a note, and it automatically identifies that timestamp that we're at. And then I can type in whatever was happening here. I can tag that with the issues that we're related to, and then save it alongside the video here. So you can see on this video, we just added 2 so far. I made a note here. My colleague Luke, who's also shared on this test, and he has a login, he's made a note here. So if I want, I can use this play link and jump and see what Luke thought was important here, and what he found. Or if I watched this video a week ago and now I'm putting together my report, and I want to go back and rewatch this bit where something isn't loading up, or I want to, I can use that play link and jump back and see what happened there. Or if I want to send it to engineering and show them, hey, there's a bug here, check out what happens and how it unfolds. I can get a link and send them that link, and they can go visit that and see exactly what happened in this user session, right? I'll show you another video where we've done a lot more than just 2 notes. This should be the one, and this is a mobile test, so we'll get to quickly see what that looks like. But in our annotations column, I've made a whole bunch of notes you see here, and I think I'm the only one that's made notes on this particular test. But if I want to go back and see the bit where she's complaining about how long the placement test is for this Duolingo flow, I can jump back and watch that, right? And I can hear what she said about it. And if I want to see everything that was related to the placement test, this tag that I used for it, I can click on that. And we're going to sort down and just show notes that, okay, there was only one. But if we picked a tag that had more than one note that was related, I'll be able to see, let's do interactions. I think there's a few for this one. And so I can see related issues. And so will everyone who's shared on this test will also be able to do this and see related issues and jump and find those. If you're working with someone who's sharing the burden of analysis with you in equal parts, you can both find different things and share them with each other. Or if someone is not going to be watching the whole thing, but they just want to quickly skim through and get up to speed on what the big findings are, they don't have to watch all 30 minutes, right? They can just skim through and maybe watch a couple of key things. So for yourself, for your colleagues, for your stakeholders, there's a lot of different uses for these annotations that allow you to turn these videos that you get, these raw videos, into real action on the product roadmap. And then you can also string those together into a highlight reel. But that's a whole nother interface, and I do want to wrap up here so we can have time for some Q&As.
Yeah. Paula, are you able to moderate for the questions?
Yeah, I think I can do that. I'm here.
Oh, great. Okay. So I think the first one was yours, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Tim, this is Paula.
Hi, Paula.
Hi. You've got pandemic hair.
I do, yeah. It's much longer than in the picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It took me a minute to put the 2 social references together. Oh,
yeah, well, I grew out the hair and I shaved the beard for mask wearing purposes.
Yeah, a lot of guys have done that, I've noticed.
Yeah.
Okay, the first question is, does TryMyUI have a testing pool over the age of 50 years?
We do.
You do.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
How does TryMyUI develop their test pool? I recently saw a post online by a researcher PhD who said she had just tested her first 50-plus-year-old participant and was so surprised that the person learned the device better and better as they progressed through the exercise.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, oh, sorry. Oh.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, so I mean, it is harder to get people over the age of 50 to do these tests, but we have over 500,000 people in our panel, and we do have all ages represented. Obviously, the largest cohort of those is younger people who are the most tech savvy and spend the most time on the internet, but we have been able to recruit people at all ages. And we do have some customers, especially in the healthcare area, that are testing exclusively with older users. So the way that we grow our panel is that we actually mostly people hear about it through word of mouth, or say through a Reddit post or through a YouTube video, or we've had people feature us on TikTok and show how they use TryMyUI to take tests. So people find us through a million different ways, and then sign up and create an account. They fill out their profile. We have them go through one practice round first to just get the software set up and understand what a usability test is. And once we verify that they've done that and that they followed the instructions and spoke aloud during the test, they're qualified to start taking tests for real customers. And on the customer side, you fill out the demographics of who you're looking for. We send notifications to the people who match and have them go and record their sessions.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Next question is from Lee. And he asks, different companies have standardized on different response scales, like 1 to 5, 1 to 7, 1 to 10.
Yeah.
Are the rating scales at TryMyUI customizable?
So in most spots, no. So the one spot where you can customize it will be in the post-test survey, where you've got some slider rating. I guess in this test, we don't have any slider rating. Oh, yeah, we do. But for things like the task usability, we've used a standardized model called the SEQ, the single E's question. And that's one that's kind of been experimented and tried and tested by a quantitative UX expert named Jeff Sorrow. And he's kind of standardized that wording and the 1 to 7 scale, and the labels are very difficult to very easy. And so we've kept that standardized model because it's been proven to be effective and reliable, rather than just whatever random numbers that people want to do it. We are considering making that customizable, but we do feel that because this is a proven standardized model, it's a good idea to take that seriously. And then with the overall usability, let me see. So like the SUS, I mean, these again are standardized models. You can't change the questions or the scale on the SUS or the PSSUQ or the NPS or these different ones. And we're not going to be changing that. These are models that exist, as is.
Okay. Let's see. Rebecca Lee asks, what's the difference between this and usertesting.com for anyone who's used it?
Yeah, so user testing, of course, is our direct competitor. We do a lot of the same things. It's task-based remote usability testing. We both do all the devices and all the different interface types. The way that we've built up our feature sets are different. So we've, the entire philosophy of how we've built our feature sets is to streamline things and make this whole process from beginning to end easier and more efficient for researchers. So for example, the way that we've taken our task usability and integrated it directly with the videos and the task usability and task duration, that's the way that we've kind of tied everything together. All of the data set that we're giving you speak to each other and inform each other. And so that's kind of that philosophy that's inspired our data, our feature set. And I mean, I don't believe that they have this level of integration between all the different features. I know that they also don't have these pre-built standardized models of surveys to capture overall usability. We both have annotations, we both have highlight reels. The UX crowd is a TryMyUI original feature. So, I mean, there's differences in features, there's differences in the way that the features work together. And the other big thing is just the rules that you have about how to use the tool. So another big part of the philosophy that we have is flexibility, because there are UXers who are at every different size of company, every different size of team, every different budget size, with a huge variety of different needs or different priorities. And so we put very few limitations on how you use the tool. We don't make you pay extra to test more than one URL or more than one domain under a single license. We don't put limits on how many tests you can create at once, or how many tests you can create over the period of your subscription. We don't put any limits on how many testers you can request at the same time. And user testing, as well as most of our competitors, have rules about all of that. But we believe that because there's so many different usages and use cases for UX researchers, we just want to give you the tool and then let you decide how you need to use it. So if you want to test 5 different websites, you can do that, and you don't have to pay a whole bunch extra to do those tests.
Great.
I'll add to that and say that I know for sure that usertesting.com is more of an enterprise tool and starts at $35,000 a year. TryMyUI is very flexible with smaller companies, middle-sized companies, and you can turn on and off, and you have a lot more flexibility on how you use it and when you use it.
Exactly.
With usertesting.com, it's all or nothing.
Yeah, user testing really doesn't have options for startups, for nonprofits, for medium-sized businesses, for people with a small budget. And we want to be the tool that everyone, no matter who you are, can do usability research. And so we've made it so that there is access at a variety of levels, and we have enterprise level customers too. But the bulk of our business is agencies and small businesses and e-commerce shops and things like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Next question is, briefly, can you show us what an export CSV file looks like and how people break it down?
Yeah, so I think, let's see. I think if I go to sample, let me stop sharing my screen for just a second. I know that I've got one somewhere. Let me just find that really quickly. Sorry, I'm actually not sure if I'll be able to pull it up in just a second. I can share it later. I can send you a link and then distribute it among you guys.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Just right up.
Put it in the footer notes under the video.
Perfect. Yeah.
Okay. Next question is there a voice to text transcription feature?
Yes, actually. So let's go to this test here. In that right-hand column where we've got the annotations and the survey and all of that, there's an extra column for transcriptions. And we just use Amazon's speech-to-text feature. So here we go with Edgar's video. Everything that he's saying is laid out here in the transcript column. And all of these individual words are hyperlinked back to where they occur in the video. So I can click on something and start playing from there.
Nice. And one last question. Are there any other questions out there that I don't know about? Is there anything that hasn't been asked? Please put it in right now. And then while I'm waiting to see if that happens, there's just one more thing I'd like for you to talk about, and that is, where are you coming from? Because a lot of our people are new. Where are you coming from? Can you just explain a little bit more about why a standardized test like the SUS and the SEC would be used and what discipline that's coming from? Can you just talk a little bit about the social science and that kind of perspective?
Sure, I could try, yeah. And I mean, I'm not an expert on that stuff by any means. We've essentially used these standardized models that other people have created and adopted them into our feature set. But the idea is that if you're going strictly on qualitative data, which is super important, it takes so much longer to understand what the key findings and takeaways are. Right.
I just want to explain a little bit. Qualitative data is if you're talking and having a conversation with someone and you're going through the words and trying to figure out what their meaning is that way. Quantitative is more of the numbers. How many of those people said these certain words? So that's what he's talking about when he's qualitative. You're talking a little fast, Tim. So I'm just trying to help those who may not know. But yeah, it's very, very important. As a researcher, I know that these standards that he's putting in place are very structured, and they come from a long line of, they're proven over and over again to work and to give us what we need. Because the number one thing that we want in research is to have unbiased information. And these standards help us stay within those guidelines and keep us honest and without bias. And so we try to do that as much as possible, and them including it in here, it means we don't have another layer that we have to apply. So I hope that helps answer your question.
Yeah, that helped me a lot, actually. Yeah. And I mean, yeah, so we've intentionally built something that provides you qualitative and quantitative data. One of the benefits of quantitative data is that it's harder for, say, a stakeholder or a client to cast doubt or aspersions on if you just say that someone said this or someone felt this way. That's real, but people can say, oh, well, someone else could feel a different way. But if you show them 50% of people are unable to complete this task, our rating here is only 42 out of 100. Those hard data make your qualitative data a lot stronger, and they work together to make an argument that's a lot more unshakable. But it also helps you to be more objective. So like Sherry was saying, so actually our UX crowd feature where the users are voting on the important issues, right? If let's say I've got an interface that I've designed and I've got a hunch about an issue that I think is going to be a problem. And so when I'm watching the videos, I've got my eye especially out for that. And when I see it come up, I might go, oh, see, I was right. This is a big important issue that we need to fix, right? However, if I go to my UX crowd data, and out of all the issues, that was like, 90% down at the bottom of the list, and only a couple people voted on it out of 20 users, I can take my own subjectivity out of it and go, well, I thought it was important, but the users did not think so. They felt that this other, unrelated thing was the most important issue. So measurable quantitative data like this allows you to remove your own biases when you're analyzing and evaluate what was harder and what was easier from the user's own point of view. And then the same is true for your task usability. If watching the videos, you fixated on something from task 1, but our data here shows us that tasks 2 and task 4 were the part that users felt were hardest. So yeah, as far as adding objectivity to the analysis, as far as adding rigor to your presentations, there's a lot of different uses for quantitative data and a lot of reasons why it's super important to have alongside your qualitative data.
And just to pile on that a little bit more, on the quantitative and qualitative, they are validating each other. So I can say they liked it. Well, how many liked it? Well, over 50%, like Tim said. But why did they like it? Because right now all I have is quantitative data. I need qualitative. Why did they like it? Well, most of them liked it because of this situation, this feature. So it adds color, it adds depth, it adds, dimension to your data and evidence that is not biased. And they help. What I try to do is do at least quantitative and qualitative, but also a third, something else that validates it. So this gives you 2 out of the 3 that you're looking for to validate your data. So,
yeah.
Hey, Sherry.
Yeah.
I see that we have a couple of more questions in here.
Yeah, go ahead.
One, I hope that's the way I've pronounced your name. I apologize if I butcher it. I'm so sorry. She says, I'm curious, again, I'm not familiar with the name Azit. Please forgive me. I'm curious about Tim's background and how he got involved in his role at TryMyUI.
So actually my background is not originally in user experience or design. Back in 2014, I graduated from college, and one of my close friends at the time started working with a kind of serial entrepreneur and tech CEO in the Bay Area in California. And together they launched TryMyUI, which the bones of it had been built by a pair of user researchers. And it was just at a very basic state. And my buddy Rit needed someone to work with to handle all this stuff. That it was more than a one-person job, essentially getting the company off the ground. And so I didn't have any background in it, but I joined the team, started doing some marketing, started doing a bit of this, a bit of that, some sales, some design. And we started hiring people who knew a lot more than us about all this stuff. And it was kind of a process of learning on the job and figuring things out from experience. What works, what doesn't. How does a usability test? What's a good usability test? What's a bad usability test? How to analyze the data. So it was very much a learning, hit the ground running and learning from experience situation. Yeah, so we've now been at this for almost 7 years.
Nice. Congratulations on your success.
Thanks.
You've probably earned every ounce of it.
Yeah, it's been a lot of progress since 2014. Lots
Cool.
different.
Lee, I think this is our last question as far as I can tell. Lee says, I don't see card sorting in skimming the TryUI homepage. Is that a feature?
No, so we do focus just on user flows on prototypes, websites, and apps. However, if you were to use, say, a third-party platform to set up a card sorting exercise, you could use the link for that and set up a TryMyUI test with that link to have users record their sessions and their thoughts doing a card sorting type experience. But we don't have an inbuilt way to do that type of research, no.
Okay, I think that's it for the questions. Thank you so much.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Great.
I'll stop sharing my screen here.
Yeah, that was super great. I'm so glad that you got to do. Oh, you got some clapping going on down there. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So I'm gonna move on to the rest of this. Stay tuned. We've got door prize drawing coming up. Let me go ahead and screen share. And I'll move that out of the way. And move that. Okay, now I can share. Okay. Let me move you guys off. Okay. Oop. It says it quit automatically or something. I don't know. Could y'all see me?
Yep.
Okay. Let me try and share one more time. Y'all see my screen? Or no? Okay.
No, not anymore.
Okay. Let me try one more time then. It's being weird. Well, it's saying that it keeps cracking.
Oh, we lost her.
Oh, I'm back.
Oh, there
Okay.
you are.
All right. So maybe we're back on. Don't know.
I
Can you see
see the presentation now.
Oh, great. Okay, so announcements. Yay. Okay. So move this over here. So the announcements are that if you like your presentation this evening that Tim gave you, feel free to, we can share the form with you to submit your own person. If you come across someone that said, you know what, my UX group would love to hear from you. Or if you want a subject that you're like, I really want to learn more from Tim and I want him to come back or whatever. So you can put those things in the form and suggest topics for us to put in our group. And we are, I think we're good through April right now, but we're still booking for the rest of the year. We want to try to book out as far as we can. So don't be shy about saying, in October or something like that. So we do encourage you to submit your own people and your own speakers, or if you would like to talk about something yourself, we'd love to have you. So also, we did launch a new website. If you haven't had a chance to go to it, the UX sanantonio.org. Try that out, see what you like on that. We are building pages on there as we go. We've got our, MVP, our the most viable product is launched already, but we're working on it. We're adding some new features to it each week. We're working on that, and we also would like to get more volunteers on helping with the website and other things that we have. We have lots of volunteer opportunities on the website. There is a page for volunteers, and we have a list of all the projects we have going right now. And some of them are all from me. Paula and I are doing a whole lot of them. So any help is appreciated. And if you're just wanting to learn and get your, your fingers dirty a little bit for this, learning how to do it, then this is a great opportunity to do it. We also are launching a new program. It's going to be Monday evenings. We're going to have new events every Monday evening. We're either going to have an AMA, which is an Ask Me Anything session, or we're going to have a workshop. And it could be some type, we're going to be doing one in March that's being worked on right now through Design Systems. And that should be, we'll be launching that on Meetup pretty soon. Once we get those out, we've got that whole thing is being planned out meticulously, and when Paula gets all the details, that she'll be able to post it up. It'll be for all of the first 4 Mondays in March anyway for Design Systems. And then for the next 2 Mondays that we have for February, next Monday, we have an AMA with an author, which I'll talk about in a little bit. And then on the last Monday of February, I'll be doing an AMA for all the newbies, for y'all to ask me anything about how to get a job in UX and what you need. So we're trying to get some recruiters and hiring managers and things like that on the panel as well. But I have gone through this whole hiring process over this past year. I was laid off in March because of COVID, and then recently got hired on full time after doing a lot of contract work. And I just signed the papers 2 weeks ago. So, it's been really exciting and a bumpy ride. So, and I have years of experience, so I know it's got to be difficult without the experience. So I just want to tell you what to look for and give you some tips and things like that on that. So that AMA will be the last Monday of this month. And again, if we need volunteers, the more help we get, the better we get. We can only do so much as volunteers. And if it's just one project, or if you want to stay on for several projects, it's open, and you gain experience. You gain references for new jobs, and you gain information you can put on your portfolio. So we hope that you can volunteer. All right, so that's it for announcements. And now we're going to do door prize. And I have this cool, no, it's just a trick. No, okay. So everybody look and make sure your name is on there. If anybody's on here that don't have their name, I took me, Andrew, and Paula off because we're in the members anyway. We're kind of old hat at this. So I'm gonna go ahead and spin the wheel and see who wins the door prize. Okay, can y'all see? Everything's ready? Okay, all right, Chelsea's excited. Isaac, you win the door prize, yay! Okay.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Thank you. I never won anything. Wow. Thanks.
Yeah. So, so what we're going to do is if you could just send a private message to me or Paula with your email, and we will send you a $25 gift card to either Amazon or rosenfeldmedia.com, your choice. And that way you can get a UX book.
Oh, yes. Yes, for sure. I know exactly which book I want.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. All right.
Thanks.
All right. So the next event is next Monday, and it'll be with Greg Bernstein or Bernstein. I'm not sure how to pronounce that just yet. And he's going to be Ask Me Anything, and it's a book that he just released. And since y'all are interested in the research part of it, let me share my screen real quick, or my video. He wrote this book. It's called Research Practice. I've got it listed there, Perspectives from UX Researchers in a Changing Field. And I have been reading it, and it's just like sitting in a room full of very experienced UX researchers and them talking about various subjects. Like, now talk about this. What are your thoughts on this? And they all just, it's like a conversational interview type presentation on it. And it's so amazing. And I am just like writing notes down and and loving it. So he's going to be here. He doesn't have like a presentation for the book, but he said he'd be happy to do an AMA. So he's going to be there just for 1 hour next Monday night. So I hope y'all can sign up for that. And Tim, you're welcome to join as well. And so with that, we'll do the closing, but you are welcome to stay around and network. So we can stay out, stay on for a little bit longer till 8 o'clock. We usually stay till 8 or sometimes 8:30. We've known to go a little longer, and just kind of network and talk. So yeah, and Paula wants to take a picture of everyone. So everybody has to turn on your, let me stop sharing my screen. You have to turn on your cameras. Did we lose? Oh, Tim's there. Okay, good. All right. So Lee, Andrew, y'all don't have to turn on your, it's dark here. Oh, Isaac is felt walking around still. Vanetta, Yoon, can y'all turn on your videos or no? Okay.
Yep.
Okay, we're working on it. Okay, Lee. Okay, there she is. She's out walking around, see? That's so cool. Thanks for doing that. Okay, well, we'll go ahead and go with this, Paula. See if you can get the screenshot. So everybody need to say hi or thumbs up. Okay. Did you get it? Did you get it, Paula?
I think I closed my eyes.
Two over. Okay.
Do you want to do it
Alright.
again, Kelsey?
Oh, no, I was just joking.
Actually,
Awesome.
I didn't know I was taking it. So 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks for putting up with us, Tim.
Yeah.
This was really good. I really appreciate the your time, for one. No doubt you
Yes.
are busy. And I don't know, for me, this was the first chance I've had to see a user testing platform from the account side of it and not just the homepage. Hey, buy our
Right.
product. $35,000 was a bit shocking. I couldn't believe that. No wonder I haven't seen anything on the back end.
That's the
So,
competitors, by the way, not us.
Yeah, that's the competitors, not his. Yeah, Tim's is much more reasonable for sure, especially for agencies and small businesses and things. So, yeah. So
thank you very much.
Yeah. So who is interested in research? Everybody? Okay. Cool. And who does design? Does anybody do design too? No?
Yep.
Yeah, I
Design
think
for Netta?
Vanetta just got out of a boot camp, right? No, was
Okay.
that college or boot camp, Vanetta?
I'm in grad school right now. So I'm doing both. I'm doing a little both and in my internship.
Oh,
I'm checking out my filter. I have like the crazy eyebrows on, so I just noticed.
Have y'all seen the video of the cat, the collier with the cat? That's hilarious. I'm not a cat. I'm live.
And he didn't know how to
they're
turn
gonna
it
play
off.
that
or
at his
something.
funeral.
And the wild eyes of the cat were just all over the place. And the guy above him was just like trying so hard not to lose it, I think. That was really great.
Man, that was tough. Yeah, so I like to do a little of both. I want to do research and design. I don't want to pick one right now.
Okay.
But I love research. I mean, I am a research guru.
Yeah. Well, it's a lot of fun. I came from like a project management background, and then I was a producer for UI, and I was used to kind of doing everything from project management. You know, you got to know a little bit about a lot of stuff, and I was used to doing it from sales all the way through launch and everything. And then when I went to USAA, I was there for 2 years, and they're like, "You are only supposed to focus on UI, and that's it." And I was like, what? And they kept slapping my hand. No, you do not talk to anybody before the design, you don't talk to anybody after the design. When that design is done, you hand it to Deb and you walk away. And I was just like, that's a baby. And so I'm used to doing that. And they're like, no, you can't do that. So it made me actually focus deeper into research and forced me in, because I was, working with the research team there and using usertesting.com and figuring out which ones, which designs worked better. And we did A/B testing, and we did usability testing and all of that. And I just like fell in love with it because I felt like a detective, and I felt like a prosecutor or something, And I was also so surprised every time, because I thought it would go one way and it would go something else that I never thought it would happen. And so it's very humbling. It's very rich in information, and you never ever know until you test it. You never know. And you are not the user, no matter how much people tell you, I know what the users want. They do not, because nobody does until you ask them, and it changes. So that's why I loved it. It's always never the same thing, but I do like the processes and like Tim said, showed there's different standards, there's different ways of doing things. And I really loved that structure and standardization that's in it, but yet the information is always different. So, and the projects are always different.
Tim, what's been probably the biggest surprise for you in your exposure to user research in the last 7 years?
The biggest surprise for me, like in the direction of the industry, or like things that I found when doing research myself, or
Yeah. Let's keep it in on the research, but if you want to expand to the industry, that'd be fine too. Just whatever pops into your mind, because that's probably the most honest.
big surprise. Let's see. I'm afraid nothing is coming to mind right off the bat. I'd have to give it a little thought.
No problem. When it does, go like this.
Yeah, I will. Yeah.
So Autumn, I wanted to ask Autumn, do you do research?
Got out of a UX boot camp. I'm in Dallas.
Okay.
SMU has a certificate program that I completed, and I'm actually getting ready to start a 3-month internship with a little app startup here in Dallas with some other people from the program. So the research aspect really interests me, and I'm just trying to find ways to learn more about it, because even though we learned about it, we didn't really do a super deep dive, and there's so many different methods, and I would love to learn when to use what, when, where, and how. Sure,
Absolutely.
It can be kind of
and the program, the TryMyUI program, was fascinating, and I'm so sorry I was late, because I just feel like I missed something really neat.
It's recorded. You could go back and look at it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it's recorded. So yeah, there's I'll tell you the usability testing. Then the top methods that you really need to learn how to do is usability testing, user interviews, and surveys. Those are the top 3. And then after that, it's probably, I don't know, card sorting. I've been seeing a lot of tree tests lately, tree testing. And then, what was the other one? Oh, heuristic evaluations. Those are good too. Those are like the top 6 that I deal with most of the time. And the usability testing and the user interviews have so much rich quantitative and qualitative information in it. And if you have tools like, the TryMyUI, it helps you do that analysis so much faster. And that usually took so long because you had to dig through each one of those videos. But if you have the tools on the back end, like the TryMyUI, then it does it for you. And I know where to dive in first. And I can probably get a 4-hour turnaround or something, versus 2 weeks. So it really does help to have those kind of tools. It saves a lot of time. And that's the thing, is most people don't want to do research because it takes too much time. We don't have time. We've got to make a decision. And we need to know now. So we're just going to go with what our best gut instinct is. Well, if I can say, I can give it to you in 1 day, give me 1 day, and I can turn it around for you. I'll have it to you by Friday. Then you're valuable. You're giving them valuable insights to make the most, important decision to save them a lot of money, and you're saving a lot of risk for them. So, yeah, I'm just talking at this point. So if you have any questions. And Chelsea, do you do research or?
No, I am not yet. I'm
Okay.
day 4 into my 6-month boot camp at Springboard. So I'm doing
Okay.
a UI UX career track program.
Okay. And you're interested in?
I'm
which parts?
interested in research. I have a background in psychology.
Uh-huh.
I just left work as a special education teacher, so I really know how to take data.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm intrigued by behavior, so I have a behavior therapist background as well. I think all of those things are going to be well suited for research, but I've been learning that it's good to start off as a generalist just to kind of get your foundation built well. So we'll see where I'm led. I'm excited about networking because that's something that's new to me.
Yeah.
So
well, make sure we all connect. Yeah, make sure you all connect on LinkedIn, and link with Tim and me and our group and all of that, and each other. And that way, when opportunities come up, we can share it with each other and let each other know. So yeah,
I'm excited to join you on Slack as well.
Yeah, Slack is a lot of fun, and we do have a research project. I am trying to get some volunteers together for a heuristic evaluation. I just got handed a project that I'm going to be working in tandem with one of our sponsors, Firecat Studio. They're going to be doing the technical side of it, but I'm going to be helping with some of the information that she needs to do otherwise, for tracking the behaviors and things like that. Yeah, Vanetta, what's your question?
Oh, I was just volunteering. I would love to help because I love heuristic evaluations. So
okay.
I love all the methods, the top 3 methods and heuristic evals are the ones I do a lot of. So.
Okay, great. Yeah, and we can do that over. I was going to suggest that we do that over like a one session for 2 hours, or we can do 2 1-hour sessions. And I was gonna go over what the heuristic evaluation is in the first time, and then let everybody kind of split up and do their own, and then everybody come back together and compare notes, because then we can kind of share with each other what we missed, what we didn't, that sort of thing. So if y'all want to do that, is a one night better than any other, or we can do it on a Wednesday or Thursday?
Thursday works for me, but yeah.
Okay.
Whatever works for everyone.
I could try to set something up for next Thursday, maybe the 18th.
And so I'm in New York, but the timing, it would be about the same, like 7:30 p.m. my time. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that works for me. That's great.
Rebecca, what are you doing? I can just see your forehead. She always lays down when she does. Sit up so we can see your face. Would you be able to join us next Thursday, Rebecca? Yeah, okay. Yay. Okay, Autumn and Anuti, are y'all up for that? Isaac?
Okay, why don't we Can we generate a Zoom link while we're on Zoom?
I don't know.
Okay.
I have another, there's another research, it's the UX research and strategy, and I'm actually going to a heuristic thing at 5. What time were you gonna do it?
It was gonna be like at 6:30. So you may be able to come in late. Are they doing a heuristic too?
No, it's a speed networking.
Oh, the speed networking thing. Okay. Isaac, good. Thank you. Okay. But Autumn, you can join us later if you want. But what I'll do is we have your contact information through the Meetup, and we can send out information to that. And that way we can.
My friends from my program about
absolutely,
because y'all have some neat stuff.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much. Yes, and do invite your friends and your coworkers and your students friends to come to this group. We are all 100% volunteer. Nobody's paid to do anything that we do. We do it out of the passion from what a love for our job, and want to share this and raise the level for everyone else. So that's why we're here. We invite you to bring it, and the more people that participate, the better off we are. So my name is Sherry. Sherry Pitts. I know I've got UX San Antonio up there. Let's see. It's Sherry. Look, it's Sherry with the C. It's pronounced. It looks like cherry, but it's pronounced like sherry, like the wine.
Well, I think I said cherry a couple times. I didn't realize it was
yeah,
Sherry.
And it looks like Cherry Pitts, but it's not my fault.
Last name
Pitts.
Pitts.
Yes, it's in my thing. Yeah. I know it looks like Cherry Pitts.
I had a friend one time named Sherry Wine.
Yeah. I need to change.
Her parents named her that. And Sherry, I know that you, that is not your given name from childhood.
No, this is my married name, and I've stuck with it for the last 20 years. Thank you. I thought about changing my name, and I thought, no, nobody will forget me.
It's a great brand.
That's my brand. I've had some people that refused to, they marked me as spam because they thought I was spamming on email. So,
well,
bye, Chelsea. Thank you for coming.
It looks like we're starting to.
Bye. Thank you, Tim.
Break away.
Yeah,
thank you so much. It's been a really pleasurable meeting all of you.
Yeah.
I did think of an answer, by the way. I'll just quickly say it about something that surprised me. And actually, it's something that continues to surprise me no matter how many times, is how little people read. Every time you do a test of a design, every time you come up with something new, people do not read. And it's kind of like a truism that you hear, users don't read. They really, really do not. You put any information in a paragraph and people skip over it. And I know it, I know that truism exists, and it still surprises me just how much you have to communicate everything visually.
Yeah.
So I think that will be my answer, even though it's a basic one, but it really does, it gets to me sometimes. It's like, why can't I just make you read this?
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Middle school teacher, he mentions how he has to repeat. They don't read the instructions, and they'll expect him to just, oh, let me tell you about that. He said, no, go back and read it. Yeah.
Yeah. And Autumn, what were you saying?
I'm just going to share with some of my friends that I keep up with on some other Slack channels that I found this group, and thank you so much for letting me join your meetup. It was so interesting. So I'll be back.
Oh, great. Glad to have you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. It's been a real pleasure. Vanetta, you're from Brooklyn, right?
Yes.
Cool. And Tim, you're from San Francisco?
No.
I'm from Los Angeles originally, but right
Los
now I live in
Angeles.
Salt Lake City. Yeah.
Rebecca is in Toronto.
Mhm.
Autumn is in Dallas, and we're in San Antonio. So
Vanetta, are you in Brooklyn now?
Yep. Yes.
I lived after undergrad, I lived in New York for 16 years. And I lived in Park Slope back in the late 80s.
Yeah. Yeah.
Before they had a Starbucks there.
Yeah. I'm like 10 minutes from, I'm on the other side of the park. So I'm Prospect Park South near Ditmas Park.
Mhm.
And it's very nice. It's quiet. It's not Park Slope. It's like quieter and it's nice, but you still have access to the park. But yeah, what school did you go to for undergrad?
I went to UT in Austin.
Okay.
And then while I was living in New York, I did a graduate program in industrial design at Pratt. And so that's basically what I've been doing for the last 15 years is physical product design. So I'm just segueing from physical to digital.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
good move.
Yeah.
Well,
All right.
I'm gonna.
Okay. Hi, Paula. Thank you so much for your
Very
help.
nice to meet
Really
you.
It's
fun
nice
to
to meet all of you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you all for
Thank
having me.
Really
you.
enjoyed. Hook up on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I'd love to keep in touch, and I'll see you later, Rebecca, for sure.
And
Okay.
will you send me
Sherry and
the
Maybe I'll see you again.
invitation to the Slack channel?
Oh, did you
Yes.
see your email?
I put it in the chat.
In the chat? Okay.
I can put it in again.
Yeah.
Oh,
We'll
must
find
have-
it in the chat. We get the
Okay.
recording. Yeah. Thank you
Okay.
so much. Thanks for
Sure.
that.
Oh, you're at Pratt, Vanetta?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm studying at the Manhattan campus, UX design.
Wow, I was at the Brooklyn campus.
Yeah, we'll have to chat another time because I want to hear all about it. Because I mean, we're doing virtual classes now, which is sad, but it's okay. I still love my classes. It's really great. Great
I
program.
got pulled up at gunpoint at the G train station.
What you what?
I got held up at gunpoint one time.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Thank you. Well, okay,
Okay.
we'll catch up
Good to
again.
talk to you. Yep.
Bye.
All right.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Terry, thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
See you soon. I'm actually going on Monday to the AMA, so
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. I'll see
it's
you
great
then.
that I can join all these things even though I'm not in San Antonio.
Exactly.
thank
Exactly.
you.
We've decided to go global.
So this is awesome. Cool.
Thank
Thanks so much for doing this. Have a good night.
Yes. Thank you too.